pass from Havili was magic. The shift on for Crotty. Boom, far down you go, Quackett Smith. Me, oh my, I have enjoyed that. Yes, boy.
Draft Rugby, the game they play online in heaven.
Welcome to Season 10, Episode 3 of the Draft Rugby Show. I'm your host, Cargie, and joining me is Harry and Nelson. And we're here to do the New Zealand Conference preview. I've just noticed that both of you are wearing relevant jerseys. It's only me that's wearing something not relevant. But that's all right.
But also not surprising what you're wearing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Waratah's jersey for anyone. Harry's wearing a Moana jersey, which is beautiful. I'm wearing the Oz NZ jersey.
This is one of my favourites.
I was going to say, this is now one of your
It's a cool
favorites,
jersey.
yeah.
It's so good.
It's a sick jersey. You're just a bit too white to wear it.
It's been a while since we've done the pod caps. Harry has reminded me, so let's go ahead and update those. Harry is on 178, Nelson 154, and Cargie 144. I don't have players that those are close to yet, but
I'm number one in the world, I think.
I was just thinking, you are, but not for Super Rugby caps if you think about it, because Slipper's about to come up to 200.
And White
Crockett was over 202.
White Crockett's 202.
And that's worth mentioning. Slipper could take the title, could take the mantle out today. He could set the goal for us to strive for.
It is worth it on the last podcast. I didn't think about it. So.
Guys, let's preview the New Zealand sides and Moana today. But before we do that, let's go to listener questions. So we have from our good friend Rev, Rugby Fixation. He's going to go straight to a Highlanders point, so we'll answer this and we'll come back. But what's the best or most exciting, or I like both answers actually, best and most exciting Highlanders back row that can be named, and what's the Blues backline look like without mainstays Rico and Talea, and so many similar level 9s and 15s? So first of all, Highlanders best back row and most exciting back row.
Spoilers alert, we're going to get into it. But, for me, we differ on this. We have some differences of the best back rows. I'd say the best Highlanders back row, TK Howden, Viveni Lasagna, or vegetarian...
This is the most exciting. Don't get confused.
Vegetarian Lasagna, and Hugh Renton there in the back.
No, I would say the most exciting is going to be Sean Withy at 6, Lasanga at 7.
We said exciting,
and Hugh Renton at 8.
You named Sean Withy, we said the word exciting.
We love Withy,
You think
mate.
TK Howden's an exciting player, mate? He's a work rate player.
He's not an exciting player. You just like his name
I
for
think
some reason.
best back row for them is TK, Withy, and probably Renton still.
Yeah, Harry and I are identical. I think, look, if it's going to be the best, if it's going to be the best, most exciting team, I think let's get Lasagna in there.
Yeah.
So I think,
thank you.
it's Howden's still definitely not in there though. So I think you go, Lasagna, Withy, and Renton.
And the second part of that question, the Blues backline, how does that shape up? Yeah, interesting one. It does feel, for me, I'm greatly saddened that this will be the first year I'll be playing fantasy Super Rugby without a Ioane to call home. Now, there is still Ioane Moanonu for the Waratahs, so I'll probably be picking him up just to get my dose of Ioane.
Arguably, there hasn't been a good Ioane for a couple of years.
Hey, let's not
what
go
about?
that far.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, it is interesting. And look,
and
and I think we won't go too much into it because we'll go into it when we talk about we preview the Blues. But this is the first year I think there's been a significant change up in the Blues backline for quite some time.
And I don't think it'll help them.
Wait,
can't see it.
Yeah, neither do I. But look, I think first of all, he asked about 9s. I think, didn't he?
Yep.
I think they'll go Finley Cresty first, Tuffa, Funaki, or Sandnock second. Funaki, the more exciting player, and I would pick him for most exciting. But I think that they'll have a relatively well established order of Christie at the top.
Yep.
Bodie at 10. Like I don't think anyone's going to think anything differently.
Perifeta at 15.
Will play it, but I think he'll play 15. Zahn will be the backup. For that, Perifeta could move to 10. I think Perifeta apparently coming back from a calf injury maybe as well, but should be right for the start of the season. So maybe that delays it by a week or two.
Kelly Clark's written in. And
then what do you think about the fullbacks before we go name our full side? Because we will get to that after this.
You mean Perifeta, we've got Zahn, we've got Bowden could play back there, who knows?
Cole Forbes could play there. You can throw Corey Evans there.
Forbes is a good option.
Can't Cade Banks even play there?
Corey Evans played there.
Yeah.
If you ask me, Cody Vy's probably a winger.
He's not one of them.
Well, let's go into the Blues full preview, and then that way we can kind of pick that apart a little bit more about what we think.
Actually, I will hold you up before we jump straight into that. Just a very quick recap of the 2025 Super Rugby Pacific ladder, where the Kiwi teams ended up. So, topping the table at the end of the regular season, we did do this for the Aussie Conference preview, so we'll do it for the Kiwi as well. The Chiefs ended up top of the table on 51 points. The Crusaders in at second on 49 points. The Hurricanes, coming in at fourth for 39 points. The Blues at 6 on 33 points. Moana Pasifika at 7th with 28 points. And the Highlanders down the bottom of the table in 11th on 20 points.
It's good to see a Kiwi team below Aussies.
It is. It is nice. And how...
If it won't happen again this year.
Moana coming in at 7th. I mean, who saw that? I mean, we should have guessed more when Artie joined the team.
I mean, we did say we thought they'd get an uptick in form, to be fair with him, because he is a freak. And his season for Moana last year was, I think...
One of the best seasons ever.
The best single player season I've ever seen.
I don't think that's in contention. I think that's absolute.
Out of control.
Yeah.
So. And the only upsetting thing is he's not there this year.
Yeah.
But he will be next year.
So keep that in mind, and we'll do our prediction for how the 2026 Super Rugby ladder will end up for the Kiwi teams at the end of the pod.
Yes. Yep. And guys, I should say one last thing. We're recording this before any of the trials have started, so we might talk about them in a later pod.
Absolutely, sounds good.
Might.
All right, guys, the Blues. Big players out. I've got Rico Ioane, Ricky Riccatelli, Angus Ta'avao, Harry Plummer, Adrian Choate, and Mark Taleo.
You almost Adrian Choate on Plummer's name there as a big player out, didn't you?
Yeah, I just realised he was out, to be honest with you. But yes, he's gone as well. Now, players in, guys.
Peter Aki. I mean, he's returning to Auckland. Exciting one to come back. Obviously, a few years over in France, playing for Toulouse. Bradley Slater coming across from the Chiefs. He is a good player. Obviously, they've had some losses there with Riccatelli leaving, so it's good for him slotting in.
Just he is.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Cargie, Rambling Alec.
Speaking of good players, Rambling Alec.
Which one?
Malachi Rambling Alec from the Chiefs.
The only one that calls himself Rambling Alec.
And again, the one who I thought was certainly touted to, and I thought was a bigger shot of starting ahead of Wallace the TT 2 years ago, whatever. But he hadn't quite cracked the mantle yet, but he's here for an opportunity in the Blues back row. Hopefully we see some of him this year.
I think Cade Banks coming back could be anything, coming back from a year with the Hurricanes. Flynn Yates adds a lot of depth to their tight head props. Cody Vire, I know we talked about in the new Hot Chip podcast as well.
Again, let's just make sure we say Kodameru Nanai Vire. He's got Nanai in the name again. Just need to make sure.
Sorry, that makes a big difference.
Thank you.
Terrell Pater, Rico Simpson, and James Cameron, the full list.
Yep. Perfect.
Pater?
All right, so in terms of what we think the best starting lineups for the Blues in 2026, I think we've all gone the exact same front rows. Josh Fisatua, Kurt... Oh, actually, no, sorry, there might be some differences.
Cargie and I, we've done Kurt Eklund. Harry's got Bradley Slater coming straight into the hooker jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a big fan of Kurt Eklund all the way through, but I just think maybe he's at the back end of his career. He seems to have fallen down the order a little bit.
I don't disagree. Again, it's such a pivotal role to have combinations with your type 5 through lineouts, things like that. So it might be that we see Eklund start and Slater come in later. But if Slater's starting early, Slater's starting most of the year.
Yeah, was it just Nelson's description of Bradley Slater as a good player that really is?
That's what put me over the line, if I'm being honest. Yes. No, look. Also, I think Bradley Slater last year for the Chiefs had a real cracky year with them. He
got a lot of game time. Yeah, Takiaho kept bringing him off the bench, which I didn't mind because he was still great even off the bench as a fantasy player. But it was annoying. I'll tell you what, it was mildly annoying. So he was very good last year, Bradley Slater.
Yeah.
Yep.
For the locks, we've all got Marcel Renata.
Yep.
For the locks, we've got Josh Beery and Sam Darry. Cargie, you've dropped Beery. I think he's not even... No, he has gone to your bench, and you've brought in Lachlan McWannell.
I'd be remiss if I didn't refer to him as the beekeeper, with Blake's favourite name for him. Look, Josh Beery was absolutely fantastic. I think we really liked him, but I just think...
Isn't there another beekeeper? Isn't Lancaster the beekeeper?
Josh Beery, the beekeeper. Well, Blake calls him the beekeeper. I think Blake just made it up. So anyway, the Weatherman...
I think it's Darby Lancaster.
It's Darby Lancaster because his dad's a beekeeper.
Yeah.
So wake up to yourself.
He's a New Zealand beekeeper.
You just heard the word the bee and you went, well, that's fun.
Anyway, Lachlan McWannell from the Chiefs. I think he's someone who has had huge raps, and I'm putting him above the beekeeper.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely an argument both ways. And I think all of us, if we've got one or the other on the bench.
And of course, we're only talking about these guys in contention because Patrick Tuipulotu, the captain, is out injured to begin the season. So
that's
right. Otherwise, I think we're all agreed he's ironed on Tuipulotu, Sam Darry, the two All Blacks starting.
Yeah, Tuapolotu absolutely busted his AC joint in his shoulder. It's obviously popped right up.
Yeah.
I
Trying
think
to tackle
he's aiming for April, May that he's looking for his return. So, we said last week, March, we'll just catch you in, so he's a little bit late.
Yeah.
Guys, preserve for the front row. We've talked about our hookers, but Ofatunga Fase and Flynn. Yeah,
He's got a very unorthodox way to spell Flynn, but Flynn Yates.
Excellent, very good. Yeah,
There's a little Easter egg for those watching.
For those that don't
Doesn't
watch
need to be
listen.
explained.
And-
Nelson spelt Flynn FKYN.
It's fucking
Yates. Yeah.
Fucking Yates.
And now, in continuing some silliness, another player that I have to mention is Ofatuanga Fasi. I don't know if you guys saw this at all, but
Neck injury, next surgery.
No, he's made a Hollywood debut because in
he?
in the new Netflix show with Jason Momoa called Chief of War
few of them made it.
in Hawaii, he is in there, and unfortunately
Isn't there a lot more of them?
There are, but
There's heaps
he
of
does get absolutely mauled by Jason Momoa, but it is pretty cool to see. I was like, watching him the TV show, I was like, is that Ofatuanga Fasi? There it is.
It was all over the socials.
Yeah.
When
Oh, mate, it was so good.
He did have neck surgery last year, which is why he missed the whole year.
Was
Because
that
of Momoa.
was that from Jason Momoa?
Yes, it was. It absolutely was. That's confirmed. But Josh Fusatua and Offa will have a lot of competition. But Fusatua was the player of the year for the Blues last year, so I think that's why we'll kind of favour him.
For sure. And I just want to go on record and say that I think Ofatuanga Fasi would have had Jason Momoa. He would have taken it down. Just anyway.
Also for the locks, exact swap back of what we were talking about
Did say
before.
that, yes.
And then when we roll into the most important part of the team, Anton Segner at number 6, brilliant. I think we've all agreed upon that. Papa Li'i had a brilliant season last year again, and Hoskins Satutu his last year of Super Rugby before he becomes an English representative.
What?
Well, as soon as he goes over there, he's playing for him. Let's be
Do you not
honest.
know that? He's English eligible, and he's not played for a few years, and he signed in England.
Yeah.
We're going to have to stop that.
He doesn't have any Aussies, mate.
All right, what about the bench? We've all gone for Shay Clark on the bench, which is a big call, actually. I'm now considering whether we should be Shay Clark or Malachi Rampling.
Yeah.
But
They've got so many good options.
That
They've got
excites me. And
Cameron Christie is also a shout.
get out, mate. It excites me. Malachi Rampling Alec or Shay Clark would be so good to see them. Some of them.
It would be good to see, but I reckon Cam Christie's not
I think Jake Clark's a year or two older. I
Yeah.
think. Was,
I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure Rampling Alec is older, but
go check.
we do a lot of fact
I
checking.
think Cargie could be right.
I've researched it before this podcast. Finlay, Christie, and Bowden Barrett at 9 and 10. Nelson, you've gone for Zahn Sullivan at 10.
No, I haven't.
Okay, sorry. Peter Aki, AJ Lamb at 12 and 13. I think pretty well established. And with the Rats that Aki's got coming back in and the player that he has been, I think we expect him to start.
And let us know your thoughts on that. It's interesting about, AJ Lamb played a lot of 12 last year. I mean, we think AJ Lamb could play anywhere in the back line, but we see Peter Aki more as a 12 than as a 13.
He's 32 years old or something.
That
as
could
well,
swap
of course.
around, though.
Yeah.
So, let us know your thoughts on how that plays out.
And then we've got Nelson, I got Corey Evans, you got Xavier Tieli as your reserve centre. I think excited by both of them, to be honest.
Xavier Taylor is still, I think, 20 years old, or 21, is he? So,
And Corey Evans has been in the system for a few years. Obviously, they use him a lot at fullback when Zahn and Perifetto were injured as well, but
Covers a few.
maybe at least has a few more Super Rugby caps as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Caleb Clark on the left wing. Nelson, I call Forbes. You've got Cade Banks on the right wing. I like it.
Yeah, look, I just said on the...
Wait, can I just... You said, I don't like him, but Cade Banks on the right wing.
I'll be honest, I did say that. I'm just not a big Cole Forbes fan. He doesn't excite me.
Mate,
Cade Banks excites me a little bit more, and it's only... I'm going off 2 years ago, he was the top NPC try scorer. So,
But you could find a way to put Zahn Sullivan in,
I was
surely.
excited for Cade Banks to come to the Hurricanes, and I thought, top try scorer, he might be good. He didn't really get a run at the Hurricanes at all. I don't know. Just
We've all got franchise at fullback.
That's it.
I was going to come up with some theoreticals to solve that problem for you, but I think it'll get too confusing.
Yep.
Tafa Funaki, we've all got over Sam Knock on the bench. I think just the form that he showed the first half of last year was unbelievable.
and he was one of those halfbacks that if he ever got a chance to start, you picked him up to get in
Oh,
your fantasy
so
team last year.
good.
Yeah, it was huge.
And then we're all playing Zahn Sullivan on the bench. I think he's so like for like with Bodie and Perry franchise is his problem. So, I think there's some other outside backs that might get a chance, like you said, your Cade Bankses or your
It's such a
Cole
problem
Forbeses.
being like those two players.
And look, we could see it completely the other way. We could see Para-franchise on the bench and Zahn starting.
We're not going to say that.
No.
Okay, all right. Scratch that.
Shut your mouth.
All right, let's go for stocks are rising for the Blues in 2026. We have nothing written here. So who is going to have a big 2026?
This is your job, mate.
Who do we think is going to be on the rise? Look, I mean, you could start obviously with the hookers. Obviously, Ricky Ritelli's gone, and he was the mainstay last year, so he
Played the slot.
dominated absolutely every
It makes it a
minute.
bit complicated.
So both Bradley Slater and Kurt Eklund, either way, they both have to have a big year this year.
Yeah.
And I think they have a chance to vie for the starting position in game time, right? Whereas
I think
Ritelli
fucking
was
Yates.
That's going to be the title of the podcast.
Anton Segner, I think we named for this exact role last year, owning the 6 jersey, and then Adrian Choate took it from him mercilessly, and then now has left.
What a jerk.
It's not a fan at all. Yeah.
So Segner, I think, could be in for a goodie. You know, he will face tough competition from Che Clark's, Cam Christie's, things like that as well. But hopefully, this is his year.
I think stocks are falling. Basically, anyone that Cargie's named. So
I was going to say Josh Visatua had such a good year last year, but offer being back and fit, it's going to be pretty hard for him to have as much game time.
yeah, we've still named him to start, but he's got more competition. He's going to get less minutes, and that can't do well for you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also a lot of outside backs. Cargie, as you said, Cody Vire coming in. I mean, you've got Cade Banks as your starter off obviously the back of last year.
Are you naming Smokies or Stocks Rising?
No, I'm saying you've got Cade Banks as your starter off his performances last year, but he's also got plenty of competition around. Is this going to be a really
from last year from Cade Banks?
He had a couple runs
the
and good
Hurricanes,
ball.
mate.
Yeah, but it's a different team. But he also played Super Rugby.
Okay.
He played very little.
I don't
Super
think
Rugby.
he really
He was in my team, mate. He was good.
Kate Banks.
One
Yeah,
year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, were you in the finals? No.
that was above you.
Okay. No. Excellent. So stocks of
Smokies?
Smokies. Well, Smokies is Cody Vire.
Cody Vire.
Is just by the fact of however many the last few years there's been Mark Talea, Caleb Clark ironed on as your two wingers, and now for me I think there's a chance if Cody Vire, who has just been an absolute sensation, can come and get a call up and have an absolute ripstorm of a game, then it'll be the case of just let him keep playing until every game.
Can Zahn Sullivan play wing?
I don't think so. I think he's a fullback.
Well, of course he's a fullback, but can he?
Yeah,
No.
he's a fullback, but if he can play wing, yes.
So could he fill that right wing spot?
I honestly don't see why not. This is trying to force your hand into picking him. I think he could play that spot, and I mean, it just depends if they want all three of those boys on at the same time.
You know what? For some reason, I've just never considered it at all. But
Because you don't know rugby.
I would put him there.
The other Smoky, mate. Are you putting the Prince in there? Peyton Spencer.
How have we gotten this far and not mentioned the Prince? And why didn't I put him for starting on the right wing? What?
Well, you didn't put
frankly-
anything down, so...
True. That doesn't quite help us, does it? Is this the year?
No.
Peyton Spencer.
No.
Has he been in the system for another year?
Yeah, it'll just be the system for another year, I think.
I think it's time. Time for the Chiefs.
It is.
So if the players out for the Chiefs, Bradley Slater already touched on that. Aiden Ross already touched on that last week. Manaki Selby Rickett
Manasa.
Harry. Yeah, Manaki.
It was a while since Matt Daly played for the Chiefs. It was a while,
yeah, true. And Jimmy Tupou, throw in Rampling Alec, throw in Sean Stevenson, Biggie, Anton Leonard Brown, Poi Hippie. They also lost Trask, Gideon Rampling as well, Manasseh Matayeli.
Big names.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
a
Huge,
lot.
huge names.
Players in, they've got Tyrone
Why is
Thompson.
Manasseh Matayeli there? He wasn't there last year.
No, he was actually.
Was he?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, when I said a while ago, I was just messing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was last year. Yeah.
Tyrone
He's
Thompson
moving around.
from the Newcastle Knights in the NRL. I think he might have gotten one game.
Returning.
Or something. Yeah, coming back. That's right.
Yeah.
It was a phenomenal player when he left.
Mm-hmm.
Lalakai Feketi coming in. Kyron Tamoy Falau. Obviously, lots of excitement about him as a signing. Then you've got Tane Colossi. You've got Bennett Kumoroa. You've got Jaden Sarr, younger brother of Feti Sarr. Isaki Vaki Suiola.
Nice.
And Kyle Brown, Isaac Hutchinson, and Tapia Cook Savage as well, the fullback that can play a little bit of 10 as well. So some depth in the younger guys coming through as they keep developing their pathways.
I think that's the key for the Chiefs is depth. There is a lot of depth, and I think some pretty ironed on lineups. So let's go ahead and go through our starting 15s for the Chiefs. Up front, Ollie Norris tipped to have a big year, I think. Samasoni Takiaho and George Dyer. I think we can agree that's pretty set in stone.
Yeah,
front
and
row.
on the bench we've all gone Brody McAllister, Jared Prophet, Ruben O'Neill.
Yep.
Obviously, as you said, Takiaho spent a lot of time on the bench to start the year, and then back end of the year they kind of brought him through. Maybe that's something that they'll do again to manage his minutes in his year. Remains to be seen, but definitely a bit of a risk. But as you said, from a fantasy perspective, doesn't seem to matter.
Not at all.
We've got in the locks Josh Lord, Tupavai with Natua Akoi on the bench. I think we've all done that. Pretty simple.
And maybe it's just because I'm a nerd, but Josh Lord and Tupavai, both number 5 locks. So I'd like to see which one moves.
It just depends who's bigger. He's got a few more kgs on him. He can stay in for life.
Do you think it's rock, paper, scissors? Is that it?
I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Simon Parker, Luke Jacobson, Wallace Satiti. I know that we're all umming and ahhing about how you leave Sampenny Finau out of your starting side. You almost had him, Craigs, but you've conformed. Simon Parker, I tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Simon Parker did rotate in and out of the 6 and 8 jersey and Sampenny Finau started a lot because, different coaches, different preferences of what they're looking for.
I think we'll see some rotation for resting All Black minutes because these are 4 guys. Well, sorry, actually, Finau fell out of the All Blacks last year. And I was a little bit disappointed by him last year. I had him in my fantasy team. He didn't actually have a blockbuster year, but I think we can fully expect to see these guys rotate, and we may well see Finau play some more minutes as a result of not being part of that All Black squad.
Yeah,
I agree. We've got Cortez Ranama. Everyone's the same, unanimous. DMAC at 10. In terms of the bench, we've all got Xavier Rowe, and we've all got Josh Jacome on.
Too good to not be in the team.
I'm so tempted to start him at fullback, but there's just too many outside backs.
They have too many, especially with Tamoe Falau.
It's so tempting to start him at 10 and put DMAC at fullback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sentence.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's Quintapaya. Daniel Rona. This is where it was a little bit tricky, but we all went the same with that Daniel Rona sitting in that 13 jersey.
No Lalakai Feketi for any of us there. Or on the bench.
Yeah.
As 3 Waratahs fans.
Look, I don't think his season last year is helping. I don't think he had as good a season last year as he has in the past. He hasn't been there as long. Daniel Rona has been pretty good. In terms of the back 3, mate, Leroy Carter. Out of nowhere. Well, none of us named him last year, and now he's, without a doubt, starting on that left wing. And then the differences are, we've all got Emoni Narawa, but on the right wing, Cargie and I have Tamoe Falau, and Harry's got Nanai Saturo.
Yeah, and Narrower at fullback, that's right, yeah. And then we've just rotated out for the benches there as well.
Yep.
Guys, beyond that, what do we got for the Stocks Rising?
Stocks are rising. Ollie Norris, like I said, set to have a big year. Aiden Ross has shipped and moved on over. Ollie Norris is getting picked a lot. I think we'll just see him get a lot of minutes this year and just go from strength
And
to
can
strength.
play big minutes in a game.
Absolutely.
Just Jacob. We don't know how, but he's just going to get more chances this year.
10 or 15.
Yep.
Buddied up with Mackenzie. He's so good. And we talked about his stats in the new Hot Shit
Mackenzie
podcast for NBC.
Mackenzie could play plenty of 15, slot him at 10 or vice versa.
Daniel Rona scores so many points as well when he does play.
On the
could be wing,
center.
could be centre. I think there's an opportunity there with ALB leaving in particular, but obviously also Rameki Poi Hippie as well.
Yep, huge.
There's an opportunity there if he can hold off Lalakai. Big mover.
Yep, and stocks are falling. I mean, we just talked about Sampenny Finau, and I said he actually kind of could fit into both categories. Stocks are falling or rising, but just Simon Parker's rise to the All Blacks. He was starting there in the 6 jersey for the All Blacks at the end of that season, international season last year. So could go either way with Finau. And then we also have Nanai Saturo. Just we think by and large he might be the one in the crosshairs with there's Tumofalau coming in. They've got 4 incredible outside backs and a couple of new talents coming in, but we think he may be the one to struggle for game time. Who knows?
I think I said Troy Flower might not start as much, but Eteni probably hasn't been able to put together the most consistent seasons for the last few years as well, but has had a lot of injuries. So this is the year where I think he works out if he can stay in Super Rugby long term or not.
Yep. For mine, I think it is.
I say that considering he has like 50 caps.
Despite both Narawa and Carter being in the All Blacks, I see it as Carter is ironed on left wing. You can't leave Tumofalau out. So I see it between Narawa and Nanai Saturo sharing the fullback jersey. Honestly,
I think it's
maybe
Narawa.
Yep.
But look, there's also a lot of people that can cover out fullback, but we've gone Smokey Tapaya Cook Savage.
Yep.
Don't get me confused, Tom Savage. They're very similar players. Fullback option, not a big body, but we know he's a talented player. through some of his age grade stuff, through I think some of the NPC. But I mean, again, we're talking about Tamoi Falau, Narawa, Nana Satoro, Mackenzie could be back there, Josh Tacombe could be back there to cover fullback if he's going to get a full run at fullback. So it's pretty hard for him to get in there. He can cover wing as well.
Are you telling us all the reasons why you don't think our smokies are smoky?
No, he's a smoky. But geez, there's a with this smoke, there's fire.
I've got one where there's an actual smoke. Tyrone Thompson, I think, they did rotate through their hookers last year. Thompson has the ability to have huge impact. He's come back a few kilos lighter from league. He'll be
McAllister, Takiaho.
So, yeah, I'm not saying he's starting every week, mate. I'm saying that he has the ability to really create some damage.
And he looks like a proper fantasy manager, you know what I mean? He's a
definitely
real hog. We like the look of him.
Oh, yeah. I think that's all for our Smokies. On to the Crusaders for the first time. Big players out. I've got Ioane Moananu, and I've also got Matt Mould, Sam Matenga out. We've got Quinton Strange is left after, I think, probably a season that I expected that maybe he was going to come into his own, to be honest. Tom Christie, who managed to wrestle back the 7 jersey last year, is gone. Mitch Drummond has retired. Fletcher Anderson over playing in the Scarlets now and is absolutely killing it over there by all accounts. James O'Connor obviously gone to Leicester Tigers, and Levi Aumua has gone to Japan to play for the Cannon Eagles.
Can I just say for a moment, I'm Cargie, mate. This is a proud dad moment for me here. You just said big loss for Tom Christie, a little white man. Like, you used to talk shit about him. You're growing.
Well, mate, when one player makes half the tackles of the entire team, it is a big loss. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
I think one of just in the NPC, the last season in the NPC, he was playing. I forget which club he was playing for, but I think he topped tackles in the NPC last season as a Spain. So he was. Look, he's a workhorse. You just wouldn't find him in my fantasy team. Put it that way.
Can you run through the players in, mate?
I can. Big players in. We've got. There is no player bigger than Lester Fainganuku coming home. Oh, God, I can't wait to see him play. And he's the real big question. We've been toying a lot with whether he was going to list him as a fantasy centre or outside back. We've ended up with outside back, I believe, because that's where we still see him playing. But, God, I can't wait to watch him again. He was one of my faves for many years. Other big players in, Will Tucker, come across from Japan. He's come in as a replacement for Scott Barrett. Maloney Kunawave, you heard me talk about him in the Hot Shoot podcast. He's absolutely electric. New Zealand under 20s just tore it up for the Tasman Marcos, even though they didn't make it through the finals this year. Anyone else worth mentioning? Big players in?
Liam Jack, I think Harry touched on him in the Hot Shit, just because of his relatives.
The gene pool, yep.
There could be more than that, but yeah, that's definitely one of the reasons we're mentioning him.
They've got all the other guys that come through the academy. Manu Maiua Letiu, the front rower. They've got Louis Chapman from the academy as a scrum half, James White coming across as a fly half, and Toby Bell, the fly half / centre as well.
True, and if we know anything, you should probably pay attention to fly halves that come from the Canterbury academy. You know what I mean? They seem to end up being pretty good.
Pay attention to any of them. It's the Crusaders. Let's bounce into the starting 15 because we're going through our individual lineups in terms of what we all did. Front row exactly the same. Tamati Williams, Cody Taylor, Fletcher Newell, unchanged between the lot of us, and we've all done the same. George Bell, George Bauer, and Seb Calder on the bench too.
Yep. Harry, who have we got for the locks?
Can you guys see the screen at the moment?
No, I cannot.
I can see you guys. I'll keep running through it if you like. So, Antonio Shalfoon and Jamie Hanna. Again, we've all agreed on that, and Will Tucker coming in to fill that bench void. When we roll into the back row, again, just not many changes. A couple of changes here on the bench. But we've all got Cullen Grace at 6, Ethan Blackadder at 7, Christian Leo Willie at number 8. And for Harry, he's got Dominic Gardiner. Cargie's got Xavier Sayafoloi, and I have Corey Kello on the bench.
That's it. Despite the Crusaders having so much depth everywhere, the starting team really does write itself.
Yep.
I can save you a lot of time by saying that all of us have the entirely the same backline.
And same.
Except for the bench, we do have some bench different. We only got one. Sorry, there's one difference in our entire back line that we think is the top starting 23, which is that you've both gone for Macca Springer on your bench in the 22 jersey, and I've gone for Chafiaki.
Yeah, look, I think ultimately we all agree what their grand final starting team is going to be, but how they use them through the season is what's more interesting. You know, we talked about Fainga'anuku's opportunity to play in the centres this year. Sevu Reece has done a little bit of that as well. You've got David Avili that can play anywhere, but probably doesn't move around as much. But they've also got options, so many options that can sub in, and I think you're going to see a heavy rotation. So, you know, Dallas McLeod's obviously had a big impact both at outside centre and on the wing as well. They've got fly half options for days with Taha Kamara coming through as well. You mentioned Chafiaki. Johnny McNichol came back and was very good in the time he got. Kunawave is one of their big signings. There's so many options for rotation, and I think that's the interesting thing about the Crusaders rather than, you know, what's their number one team. And interestingly enough, talking about number one team, I do believe Scott Barrett will be back for that grand final day, so poor old Antonio Shalfoon will probably drop out. Do we agree? Or do we think Jamie Hannah? What do you think?
Oh, I think it's hard to know. I mean, Jamie Hannah has really come on, but sorry, I do realise for obviously we've been going through the video for our YouTube watchers, but for the podcast listeners, we actually do need to name our top back line. I just said they're all the same, but so very quickly we've got Noah Hotham and Rivez Raihana in at 9 and 10. We've all said Lester Fainga'anuku in 11, David Havili 12, Braden Enor at 13, Sevu Reece 14, and Will Jordan at 15. So pretty good sounding team, if you ask me.
Kyle Preston, another one at 9. I think on the we talked previously on the Rev, he asked us a question: which halfbacks or what positions do you double up on? I mean, Noah Hotham's the number one, but if I'm having Noah Hotham, I'm also having Kyle Preston. Because if Kyle Preston starts, he is also an absolute weapon, and we know the Crusaders in the past have subbed Noah Hotham when he should be number one, and he's been in and out and stuff. They might continue that rotation, and to hold both of those, they're both going to be absolute freaks if they're starting.
Probably worth mentioning as well, considering it's been the trend, that the positions in fantasy footy that we generally look to carry two from the one team are generally those specialist positions like hooker, scrum half and fly half. It doesn't really make as much sense in the other positions. It can still work, like I think Aiden Ross, Ollie Norris was a double that I carried a bit last year. But definitely mainly done in those specialist positions.
Absolutely. Yep. Cool. All right. Well, let's injuries. We've already kind of touched on that, but Harry, Scotty Barrett.
Yeah, so he's got a sabbatical very similar to Cody Taylor from last year. So they said it's still to be worked out exactly when he comes back, but they're thinking sometime in May. So basically, I think he's just going to roll in for finals, maybe play 1 or 2 warm-up games or something like that. You won't see him until the very pointy end of the season, that's for sure.
Yep, sweet. And sorry, I should have said injuries or players not here, or elsewhere. Cool. All right, Nels, do you want to take us through stocks are rising for the Crusaders? I mean, just the entire team again, or no, anyone specifically?
They can't keep rising forever. Look, we've put him down Braden Enor. Braden Enor, we know is a very quality player, and at times he's been hampered through injury. He's been an absolute weapon at times, and then we've had a couple of years where maybe we haven't seen him as good as we think his potential is, but he started to kind of find a bit of form again, I suppose, last year. If we look at his stats last year, fantasy-wise, he wasn't that good. If you look at him, he had 2 80-minute matches, but I think the largest points he got across the whole season, he had 2 30s, he had a bunch of 20s, and they were all starts and a negative and things. So for me, he is someone that has a much higher potential than what that is. We've also got Taha Kamara with no James O'Connor, so he's another guy that's going to get more minutes and should be trusted to run out a few more times too.
Yeah, and then the other one I thought was, I think Shalfoon ended up playing the back end of the bulk of the minutes with Doggerel Barrett at the end of last season. So I think Jamie Hannah back healthy, no Scott Barrett for the bulk of the season. I think he's going to come into his own, and he's a very exciting player when he's at his best. I'm a big fan of his, so I think it's going to be stocks rising for him too.
Yep.
Perfect. Stocks are falling. The only thing we can really think of is that, they've got one extra absolute gun outside back. So with Lester Fainga'anuku coming back, last year was kind of interesting because you had Will Jordan, Severeese locked in. And then it was a bit of with the initial draft, a bit of a roll of the dice. We all thought Macca Springer might start and hold that jersey the whole year. Looks like it was Che Fiaki for a considerable amount of time last year. But now with Lester Fainga'anuku back in, I mean, if it was me, I'd be starting the three of them week in, week out, and till one of them gets injured. But so anyway, we'll see some more rotation. Lester Fainga'anuku may come in and play some 13, but I think it's certainly going to be a bit tougher for Macca Springer and Che Fiaki this year.
Yeah, and the other one I had was Dallas McLeod for kind of similar reasons. He's got a lot of starting time when Brendon was injured. It seemed that Enel really did make that jersey his own in the back end of 2025. And then also because Lester Fainga'anuku can actually sub into the centres, you don't really need to carry one on your bench. And then as good as McLeod was on the wing, you have got so many good lightning options out wide. So I think it's going to be hard for him to find his point of difference that gives him a spot.
I mean, really, the only thing he can do is somehow leapfrog Enel. If he doesn't leapfrog Enel, he's not getting much game time. He's just getting some rotation. So he'd have to have a pretty cracker season. And, I mean, it's definitely possible. I think McLeod is quite a quality player. That's it for me, I think, from the Crusaders, boys. Did you guys have anything else before we jump into the Landers?
Was there any Smokies, guys? We can never get away from the Smokies.
Smokies Kunawave then. Boom, I'll chuck him out there. No, he's unlikely to get any game time for all the reasons we've just mentioned. But if he does, you never know. Actually, I did have one other player, which was Johnny Rova. Is he not at the Crusaders now, Johnny Rova, now that I've
I think
said
he's
that.
Chiefs. Didn't we already speak about him? Somewhere else.
He was at the Crusaders last year, and I just thought of him for some reason. Yeah, he has moved. Okay, I completely take that back. I thought he might be able to get some more time at 13. But sorry, he's now at the Hurricanes. So just obviously don't listen to me.
Xavier Saifoloi. I mean, you talked about hot shit and you're not talking about as a Smoky, mate.
Yeah, well, yes, absolutely. I mean, look, you get one injury to one of those back rowers. Tom Christie's gone. So if Cullen Gray, any of them get an injury, Saifolloi's getting big game time, and this could be his big year to develop. So thank you for getting me back on track, Nelson. That's good.
No problem, mate. That's what I'm here for. I think that's... Yeah.
The only last point to say before we move on to the Highlanders is, as you might not be able to tell this in the podcast, but if you're watching the video, you can certainly tell that we're now recording this a few days later than the first couple of teams. But, mate, do we just see Razor Robertson come back and coach the Crusaders this year? Does he just walk back and do his job, or what happens?
I was thinking the same thing. Surely.
Huge.
This is too soon, mate. Too soon.
What do you mean? I literally, see you, Penny. See you later, mate.
Oh, mate, Penny let's be honest, we talked shit about Penny 2 years ago, but last year he did all right. So I don't know.
I think you do all right if you inherited that team. You know what I mean? I don't know how it's possible to do as poorly as he did. But anyway,
I did have one other Smoky, guys, and it was I mentioned his name before, James White. Young 10, as we said, any Crusaders 10, keep your eyes open on how they're going. But he was the fly half, I think, for the NPC for Christchurch as well, and playing 80 minutes week in, week out kind of thing. So I think anyone that can do that at such a young age is obviously a prospect. And, I think Taha Kamara has really struggled to lock down a jersey at the moment. Rivez Rayana maybe a little bit more successful last year, but I still don't think that 10 jersey is an absolute lock for anyone, even if Rayana is the incumbent. If you have a Smoky, maybe a few minutes.
I'm not like this. Obviously, we did this prep way earlier than right now. But if you type James White rugby into Google, there is one that played for the Box and he was born in 1911.
That's him.
So I'm guessing this guy could be different.
He's not as young as I thought he was.
A reincarnation.
Yeah, he might be. He might be pretty small.
Last player in moving on with the Smokies, it was just Aki Tuivalala. Definitely ruin that name. Harry, you can hit the sound effect if you want. Just we said there's such depth of outside backs.
I do want.
Centres, not as much. Obviously, after Braden Enoa, we've got Dallas McLeod, but he could be in there with a shot.
But I think we just found our new butchered name that sounded fun.
Do you want to correct it for me?
Tuivalala.
There we go. Perfect. That sounded great. But yeah, anyway, could we see him, get a shot in the centres in a 13? I don't know. But he's obviously a youngster, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know. But he's just got loads of people that can play in front of him. But he looks like he has the goods as a young 21-year-old. Let's bounce across into the Highlanders. Not such a crash hot year last year, the Highlanders, but, we had some hopes that there's going to be some changes this year, but we'll touch on it. But in terms of the players out, they had quite a few out. Jermaine Ainsley is one of note. Billy Harmon, Pari Parkinson, Nathan Hasty, James Arcott, AJ Failafanga, Thomas Umanga Jensen, Philemoni, Sam Gilbert, Michael Manson. There's plenty of guys that have left.
Yep, huge. A few of them demoted to the URC. To the NBC. Jesus. But yeah, I'm not going to let you get away with Failafanga there, mate. You stumbled on that one. But
I don't even know what I said now. But yeah, I butchered it.
Well, good. Big players in. Can I bring the big players in? We've got Angus Tarvo come down from the Blues. The journeyman, mate. I'd love to know how many teams he's got to now.
So many. Hey, it's
almost. He's trying to get to all of them. Thomas Lavanini, the walking red card, or have we downgraded him to walking yellow card?
He's not the walking red card. I mean, he still holds the record internationally, but he hasn't had one in a fair while.
He's the ex-red card. Can I just touch on Ta'avao, the name you butchered?
Blues, Waratahs, Chiefs, Blues again.
But he's also played for Auckland, Taranaki, Sydney Rays.
And now the Highlanders. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you reckon in a couple of years he'll end up at the Force? Because that seems a logical progression.
100%. That's already locked
in.
He signed his contract for 2030 already.
Yeah. All right. Other big players in. We've got Lucas Casey, Dylan Pledger, Adam Lennox. Lennox was around, but he was promoted. Christian Pasatoa has come across from the Force. Andrew Newstubbs coming from Sevens. And he played the Canterbury 10 all season. Xavier Tito Harris and Stanley Solomon, two names that we talked about a lot in the Hot Shit podcast. So, a lot of exciting names there. Nelson, is there any particular news on any of those exciting names?
Any news? Yes, there is some, man. I was thinking, what are you throwing at me under the bus here? Obviously, Dylan Pledger, done his ACL, correct me if I'm wrong, Harry. So, there's talk of up to 12 months. He's not coming back for this season.
And he was we only spoke about him for half an hour in the last pod. He featured him. He's the player that I picked to watch for all the new players.
He's the player we forced you to pick. And he's the one that we all said would be the breakout superstar of the year. So now there's only Aussies on our image with...
I didn't admit I said Jarrah McLeod, and you guys are both wrong. Sucked in. Hey, Christian Pasatoa is a player that we have name-checked every single year of this huge potential. He had so many injuries in the last 4 years, maybe
4 years.
Coming over and having someone like Jamie Joseph, if he stays, is the key to unlocking him and really starting to reach his potential, because he's a big body. He's got great skills. I just think he's got something special if he can get his body right. Can
we just simplify that? He's now playing in a New Zealand team. Yeah, it'll help him. But no, look.
Look, I remember watching him play for the Brumbies Runners, and I thought he was going to be, the next Wallabies 10, to be honest, back in the day. But I guess we talked about this last year, saying I didn't love that he'd been pushed out to centres, that he's put on a bit more size. But as Harry said, he's just got so much potential, and he's got all the skills, and he's only going to go better now in New Zealand. So hopefully we see some of him. He gets some time in there in the midfield. And
I did touch on it, guys. Jamie Joseph has been shortlisted as name-checked many times as the short odds favourite to take the All Blacks top job, with Razor Robinson now moved on. I don't believe that they're going to let him coach at the Highlanders and coach the All Blacks with the World Cup next year. So I reckon there's a chance that we could see the Highlanders absolutely left in the lurch, or even better, they could get Razor Robinson and just have a bit of fun with a bit of musical chairs, which would be pretty cool as well.
That's true. It's still the South Island, just a bit souther on the South Island. You know what I mean? So
I'd love to see how Razor goes in the Highlanders.
Yeah,
So let's say that's an exclusive confirmed. You heard it here first.
Mate, how many people did you see posting exclusives on Twitter all day today about? Anyway, hilarious. All right, Nels should take us through the top starting 15 and particularly all of our teams and where the differences are. Take us through the front rows.
I'm pretty sure there's no difference for us until we get to the bench back row. So we've all got Ethan de Groot, Vikenna, Aval, Holland and Lavanini in our tight five.
That's a big lock pairing, isn't it? That's huge.
That is a big lock pairing. Hopefully they can get lifted. Then we've got TK Howden, which, maybe he's not the sixth, but we've all got TK Howden as our pick there. And actually, here's the change. Cargie did manage to fit the vegetarian lasagna in at number 7. Harry and I have done the right thing and put Sean Withy at 7, and all have Renton at number 8.
Yeah, and then
we just swapped that on the bench.
Yeah, that's right. The bench forwards, we all had Henry Bell as reserve hooker, Dan Leonard-Brown and Saola Ma'u at reserve tight head. I think it's not completely one-sided there. Ma'u was very, very good at tight head last year, so I think him and Angus Ta'aval will definitely share some minutes. Mitch Dunche, I think we all said would probably be the reserve lock there, and again I think we'll get a fair few starts, and we've talked about swapping those reserve forwards as well.
Yep. Into the inner backs, we've got Folau Fakatava and Cam Miller locked in there. So Fakatava again to have a big year this year. Hopefully stays injury free. And Cam Miller wasn't the top point scorer of NPC, and so he's really looking at this year to make this jersey his own. Well, he's going to try and make this jersey his own. With Faleafanga has left, but he does face some new competition. But we've all gone for those two, and on the bench we've all put Dylan Pledger. We're going to have to update that image now because he's gone skis.
And Adam Lennox is the man we will all agree on, I'm sure, coming into cover.
I mean, there is literally no one else, so I think it's a good chance. Didn't we say... Oh, no, I was thinking it was Aaron Smith was playing locally again.
Play Finn Hurley at halfback. Just start him in halfback then. On the bench. Oh, you know what
I mean?
Matt Kiddo-esque.
Yeah, he's definitely done it. He's definitely done it before. And Finn Hurley, I have chucked on the bench. Cargie's got New Stub. Harry's got Tane Robinson. So,
we actually all have Finn Hurley on the bench.
Oh, sorry, you're correct.
You have him at 10, and you have low.
Nelson's stacked his outside backs. We've got inside centre. We've all got Timothy Tavatavana, and Tanielu Talea as outside centre. We've all got Jonah Nareki on the left wing, Caleb Tangatau on the right wing, and I love that his name is too long for the image and Nelson didn't even try and fix it. Jacob Radamatavuki Neepkins is also named at fullback, who was injured last year, but man, he was good a couple of seasons ago.
Let's be honest, I'm not going to shrink that man's name, so he deserves full size.
You can't even read it though, mate. That's the downside.
We know him.
And then the benches. So we've differentiated on the benches here. As we said, Nelson's gone forward. 2 outside backs. He's gone Finn Hurley and Jonah Lowe. His thinking is that Finn Hurley could just play 10 if he needed to. And Harry and I've gone for Andrew Newstub. I like the sound of and look of his jib. And Harry's gone for Tane Robertson, who did play quite a bit last year. For the Highlanders at 10, and then Harry and I both gone for Finn Hurley on our bench as our outside back.
And I'd like to say now, I like that you managed to make me look bad so quickly and not even realise that I said that James White was established as the Christchurch starting 10. He played 80 minutes every time he played, but Andrew Newstub was absolutely the first choice. And a few games in the year, James White played at 10 and they put Newstub to 15. So, the older senior player from the sevens, well-established, well-experienced, definitely was the first choice there.
Excellent. Just remember, I moved on. I wasn't going to fact check you on it, so you could have.
It's a podcast, mate. It's a podcast. I can't have people thinking the wrong thing.
How many 10s debut in Super Rugby over 30? Though, come on.
But he's got. He's new. His name's New Stub, mate. He's a new 10. You know what I mean? It's fine. He's
K new, mate. He's K new. That's French for not new. I'm pretty sure.
Guys, we said
any other injuries other than Dylan Pledger, ACL gone for the year?
No, for now, obviously keep an eye out for the casualty ward where there's a bit more info coming through. We'll learn a lot more when they go into trials as well, but not yet.
Sweet. Nelson, stocks that are rising.
Mate, I love that you've thrown Thomas Lavanini in here. Thomas Lavanini, his stocks are risen, and he's been around for a little while. Adam Lennox, for me, he was 2022 New Zealand under-20s. He came in last year as injury cover for the Highlanders, but now not only Hasty has left, Pledger is injured, and I'm pretty sure another one of their nines is gone too. He will be in the 23, every week. So, I mean, that's definitely a launching platform for him. And if we know anything about Kiwis, they're throwing a half back out of nowhere at this stage, and they're going to be world beaters.
I was going to say Fakatava's playing 80 minutes every week, so his stocks have just gone up because Pledger's not going to take any minutes of him.
His stocks will go up too, but no, Lennox will get minutes.
Right.
Harry, you got one?
Yeah, just Cam Miller. You talked about it before. Obviously, they no longer have AJ Faleafunga, who didn't challenge him as much as I thought he would. But I think that jersey is now his. Tane Robinson obviously had some good games to start the season, but Cam Miller kind of took over as the season went on. Miller was also the top point scorer well and truly in the NPC. I think he's kind of getting more and more confident at this level. My gut says that he will own the 10 jersey for that side. Tane Robinson might sub in and out, and new Stubbs the backup.
Yeah, sweet. The player I've got, actually, we haven't written down is Taniela Tulea. Now, obviously, we talked about Risjan Pasatoa being here and getting a chance, and we do hope he gets some game time, but I think Tulea, it's shaping up with Thomas Umaga Jensen having headed off to Japan. So you'd have to say if Tudge was still here, your first choice 12 and 13, since Tava Tavanawai has moved in, was Tava Tavanawai and Thomas Umaga Jensen. So I think quite firmly now you can say Taniela Tulea is it's his jersey 13, and everyone else can push him for it. And he came off a lot of game time last year. He had a really good time when Thomas Umaga Jensen was injured. And he partnered really well with Tava Tavanawai. So for that to go better this year.
This is just like love affair 101, because Taniela Tulea has been their main outside centre for the last 2 years, because Tad just barely put a game together.
Yeah, because he's been injured, I know.
So what, mate? His stocks have stayed at that high the whole time because Taj never plays.
Yeah, but do you agree, though, if Taj came back in perfectly healthy start of this season,
he'd be injured by round one?
If you pick it, I'm picking him round one. I'm picking
No, I said he'd be injured by round one, mate.
Oh.
Because every year he's injured. So, yes, you're right, he doesn't have the competition, but he also has played every game for the last 2 years. Is that all we're going to go with?
No, I've got this just in, boys. This just in.
Right.
Finn Hurley, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks, entering a boot. He just says another pocket rock. At least it's not the start of the season, but he's out 6 to 8 weeks. I'm trying to read through to see what his actual injury. They said he's in a boot.
It's very descriptive.
He's got a high-grade ankle sprain, mate. 6 to 8 weeks, that's what it'll be. Or a low-grade syndesmosis.
It's a guess, but it's probably an okay guess.
Yeah.
Look at that, hot off the press. There, how good, Nelson. All right, any other players' stocks are rising, or are we moving on to stocks are falling?
I think that's good, mate.
Cool. All right, Harry, you got Mitch Dunshay down here. Why are his stocks falling?
Yeah, I mean, pretty obviously, Thomas Lavanini's going to take his jersey. I thought he was really, really good last year, but he's not taking Lavanini's spot, so I think that's pretty open and shut, to be honest.
Yeah, again, he got a lot of game time last year, but that was because Pari was injured a lot of the year as well. But yeah, so unlucky for him because he had a great year last year. And otherwise, I think we touched on it with the front row, but Salamatu, who, as he said, had a really great year last year, and I think had really grown quite a lot. But Angus Tarvau coming in, I think, as you said, game time will be shared a lot between them. But that's going to go back to a splitting of game time that will happen more this year, I think, from last year.
Yeah.
In terms of the Smokies, so 2 boys, ex-under-20s boys, Stanley Solomon and Xavier Tito Harris. Obviously, Xavier also played New Zealand Sevens, both outside backs. Both, can be dynamic, dangerous players if they get the opportunity to run around in the back three.
Yep, and Andrew Newstub, I talked about it. I could well see him coming into the bench instead of Tane Robinson, getting some game time and really wowing. I don't know. I've watched a lot of him in the Sevens over the years. He's a pretty incredible player. I haven't watched as much of him for Canterbury, but we'll see see how we go. So that's why they're a smoky.
Yeah,
No
very nice.
problem.
Pushing on, let's go to the Hurricanes. So big players out for them. We've got Zach Gallagher has gone to Toyota Blitz, which I think is a big out. They've got Riley Hohepa, who was very serviceable for them and filled a lot of holes, gone to Rockets. Will Tucker, I shouldn't miss him as well, has gone over to the Crusaders as injury cover over there. Peter Ramunga Jensen has gone to Pudge as the Kontetsu Liners, so that's a big out for them. I think as much depth as they have, he was very good. Other players, Cade Banks gone back to the Blues, Daniel Sinkinson gone released back to Waikato, TJ Clark, Josh Tawala, and Nick Sushon as well.
Cool. Big players in. Nelson.
Big players in, mate. So there's a couple of guys you've probably heard of here before. A guy called Geordie Barrett, returning from his sabbatical with Leinster. Josh Morby also returning. There's Josh Team who come across from the Highlanders. Tom Allan and Werner Basson come across from the academy, come up to the academy. And Warner Derns, mate, Hurricanes boy, or Wellington boy, sorry. Wellington born is coming across to the Canes. That's got to be a dream come true for him.
Very excited to see him play this year. He's been unbelievable as captain of Japan in the last Pacific Nation Series, so he's going to be very good. Sweet. All right, the starting 15s. Harry, can you bring up the image for that one? I think we've all gone the same front row. I think I'm not going on a limb here. Xavier Nemea, Safo Amua, Tyrell Lomax. We've all on the bench. We've gone Jacob Devery, and then two of us have gone. Nelson and I have gone Siali Lauaki and Basilia Tossi, but Harry's gone for the bowling ball Tavita Mafaleo on his bench. Harry, why have you opted for Mafaleo over Lauaki?
I just think he was very good last year. He's a lot older, a lot more experienced than Siali Lauaki as well. Lauaki, I think, is a giant future, but I think if you could pick your number one at the moment, I'd probably have him with his nose ahead. And I would just like to draw attention to Nelson's typing of Tavita Mafaleo. It's Tavita ta-ta-ta-ta.
There's only two T's there, mate. Don't exaggerate. Look, that's the traditional spelling. That's the traditional spelling.
Sorry.
Don't need to draw attention to it. Yes, and I thought you were going to say there for a second that Mafaleo is so much older than last year. But no, yes, he is older than Lauaki. Fair point.
Yeah, and Basilia Tossi, obviously, we should get some minutes over Lomax, I would think, as well. Like he's a very good player.
They'll rotate even more, I think. Yeah, I mean, they've been rotating for the All Blacks, so that'll be a great double to have if you're going to pick another double. There you go, fantasy double.
Oh, mate, so I'd take Xavier Nemea as well, to be fair.
True. Cool.
So we're going to go through the back five of the scrum, mate. We've got Warner Derns locked in for all three. Caleb Delaney locked in for all three. Devon Flanders, Karifi, and Lakai. Cargie was trying to drop Karifi, but got talked into some actual sense for once. We've all got Walker Leawiri, Yossi, who Cargie was trying to squeeze in there to start as well, all on our bench.
It's a tough one. This is the first year where I have to admit that All Black Karifi he's come up to the standards. Otherwise, I wanted Lakai at 7 and Braden Yosse at 8. Hurricanes just been spoiled for their choice of back rowers for the last few years.
Hey, we're more locked in this year, and it's young Yossi should be the one that's coming in and taking the jersey off from mate. But Karifi is just getting better and better.
He is. Harry, take us through the inside backs.
Certainly. We've got Cam Roigard. For a second, I thought someone didn't pick him. Cam Roigard at 9, and he could play 10, 11, 12. Ruben Love, you guys have gone for in your best team in 10. I've gone Brett Cameron. I've gone Ruben Love back at fullback because I think that's the most likely thing that the coaches will pick. I definitely prefer your team. So you've gone Ruben Love 10, Josh Morby 15. I've gone Brett Cameron 10, Ruben Love 15. This centre's not very exciting. I think we've all done the same thing. Exciting players, but nothing to talk about. Geordie Barrett, Billy Proctor, Kenny Naholo on the left wing, and I've gone Morby on the right wing to get him on the field. Nelson's got Faye Fineanganofo on the right wing, which surprises me, and Balin Sullivan for Cargie, which is probably the most vanilla option. I think that's probably the likely option.
I'll be honest, I'm looking at Nelson's and it's juicy. It's juicy. I like it.
Yeah. I've done the Cargie pick there. Like, Finianganofo is good fun. Cargie's got on the bench. I've got Balin Sullivan on the bench. But Harry, you've also got Finianganofo on the bench as well. So we've all got him in the 23. So
I was just watching. I watched at the gym a couple of days ago. Just Day of Plenty versus Tasman Marco highlights in the semi-finals of the NPC, and Finianganofo just ran through half the team. It was just like the best run ever. I was like, oh my God, he's good. He needs to be starting.
He's so good. He's an absolute gun.
Yeah. Guys, if he's not going to start there, we'll take him.
The bench, did we go through? I don't think we went through our benches, did we?
We did. Yeah, I think we did.
I just missed the back five. So did we say Walker, Lewis, and Yose?
Sorry, the only thing we didn't talk about, is the halfback. We've all got Village Owen as the 9, and then Cargie and I have found room for Brett Cameron. Harry still managed to get Balin Sullivan. So both the 23 jerseys for us, Harry's got them at 22, 23.
Yep. And it'll be interesting to see the 10 battle, to see how that works out. I mean, Nelson and I could be wrong. Ruben Love could play 15 the whole season. He could play 10 the whole season. Maybe. Who knows? So,
yeah.
Yep.
Right, injuries, guys.
Injuries.
Harry Godfrey out for the season with an ACL injury as well. Another very exciting young playmaker, outside back, gone. So very disappointing to see so many young kids that are so exciting to watch. But yeah, he will miss the entire season. Stocks rising, Nels?
Stocks rising. I've got Warner Durns down. He, as I said, he's a Wellington-born boy. He moved across to Japan when he was 14, and I didn't realise this, but he debuted for Japan age 19 in November 2021. He didn't make his professional debut outside international footy until the following year in January for Toshiba Brave Lupus. And in the same match, he scored a try and became the youngest try scorer ever in the competition.
Yep, huge. And for more context on him, I was watching something in Japan that was explaining that when he moved to Japan at 14, his dad was a strength and conditioning coach for one of the Japanese top league teams. So you best believe that since 14, well, probably since he was 7, he has been raised on a strength and conditioning program, which has made him into the absolute unit he is. And why he moves so well for someone that big, because he moves incredibly well.
So you're saying if we all got that coaching, we would be over 2 meters too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Without help.
Yeah.
He's 124 kgs too. He is agile for that size.
Look, he's still got a bit of work to do on the kgs to get up to my leagues, but in terms of everything else, he's done pretty well. So,
do we count Devon Flanders as a stocks are rising? I feel like he's still been rotating in and out, and maybe getting a little bit more consistent towards the back end of last year. But I just wonder if he's going to become their 6 locked in.
Are we happy to all agree that Brad Shields is an old man and he's in the squad as a token Hurricanes for life?
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I forgot he was there. So
exactly,
I agree.
So Flanders, we're saying, is iron on 6. Look, he was in the All Blacks XV, the same as Siali Laaki. So I think we're right. I think we're prepared to say the 6 is his jersey. And unfortunately, it's Braden Yosse who's left out in the cold trying to fight for some game time.
Crazy.
But who is fantastic off the bench, though.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yep.
Frags, anyone else you've got for stocks rising, mate?
Stocks are rising. Ruben Love, but I guess we said this same time last year. And
they rose.
They rose. Then he was injured.
And they fell. Yeah.
And so they fell. But then look at how good he was in the All Blacks and getting those couple of shots. So I think this year, it's really they're building a team kind of around him, I guess, a little bit. Obviously they got Jordy Barrett, Billy Proctor, and seasoned All Blacks, but I think Ruben Love is set to play a really big role this year as long as he doesn't get injured. So
I think we saw Brett Cameron for the first half of the year, then he got injured when Ruben Love came back as well. So it's going to be interesting seeing both of them fit at the same time.
Yep, stocks that are falling. I think I'll start with, we've got Nani Punavai. He actually found quite a lot of game time last year on the wing, and which surprised us. I remember we were sitting there going, no, start Fingan and Ofo. You know what I mean? Why are we starting Punavai all the time? But he actually was very impressive. He was really good. fighting not only Finganofa, but he's also fighting Balin Sullivan for game time. So I think his stocks are certainly going to falling this year. I think Billy Proctor is like established 13 for sure. And then those other players are just getting so good. And Josh Morby has come back, who was irresistible a couple of years ago out there. So I think his stocks are certainly falling. And probably by the same likeness, Balin Sullivan. Balin Sullivan, I think, he's your perfect 23 or 22 jersey. He's just the Mr. Fixer, can play all the positions. But I think that means he's probably less of a chance to stay starting jersey, if that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. And for the same reason, Riley Higgins, I think, who we're still waiting to have that big breakout season. It's such a big young gun. He's probably going to have to wait another season.
Yeah, exactly. You could argue maybe with Peter Umaga-Jensen gone from the 12 jersey, they're going to have to rest Geordie Barrett some weeks, some All Black rest weeks. So Riley Higgins should get a shot there. But still probably worse off for wear with JB back.
I think if we jump across into the Smokies, it's hard. There's a lot of established players and some established players who have come across to join this team or return to join this team. But I've got Vernon Basson. He's got hookers in front of him. Don't get me wrong, but he played a couple of years in the New Zealand under-20s. He does have big raps. His brother Masesi Basson, I think, is at the Canes too. I think he's around maybe. But yeah, he's a guy for me that, he's got a ceiling, but he's a smoky because he's got guys ahead of him.
Yep. Although, I mean, is it just me, or does Jacob Devery not really excite you that much? So, you know what I mean? We could see him in there. Get him in.
They got lots. They got
still Raymond.
Guy, you've heard of Asafa Amua, Jacob Devery, Tupu. It's a leap for him. It's possible, but it's a leap for him. But I mean, I'm always locked in, and then the other guys have some experience and pretty good too.
Does Siali Luaki count as a smoky?
I don't know. I think he was a smoky last year, but look, I'd happy to shout him out again. All Blacks XV, as I just mentioned, was really impressive in that campaign last year, and he's literally kind of just learning behind Xavier Numia, who actually had quite a quiet year last year compared to the year he had previous. We thought Xavier Numia was heading straight for higher honours. Remember a year or two ago we were saying straight for the ABs, but the two of them together, they got some good loose heads.
Can we throw him back in as a smoky then?
No, you absolutely cannot.
That's a bridge too far. I think for mine, look, I wanted to talk about Arisi Polico, but I'll leave him to Harry because I do have to correct myself in mentioning Johnny Orova for the Crusaders. I jumped the gun a little bit early. He did play for the Crusaders last year, featured in a couple of games, and I was very excited by him. But he is now at the Hurricanes, traditionally more of a 13. For the reasons that we've just talked about, how they still have a whole bunch of 13s. Probably not going to see him get all that much game time, but incredibly exciting player. So I hope we do see him at some stage throughout the season. And otherwise, I mean, look, I will talk about Arisi Polico as well. Sorry, Harry. It's too bad.
I'm gonna throw in one more after you. So go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Polico, like I said, he excited me almost as much as Peter Lackey just a couple of seasons ago. It was the two of them, and I don't think I can go as far as to say he's the next Peter Lackey. I think that might be a bit of a big call, but player in the same vein, a back rower that has looked really good, and he was really pushing Peter Lackey a couple of seasons ago. So I guess he could be one of those guys who just needs his shot. But as we've said, it's already so hard to find that shot in a Hurricanes back row. But one or two injuries, really just one injury, he'll find himself getting some consistent bench time, probably, assuming Brad Shields is retiring to the supporter role. So definitely a smoky.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
I know we touched on him. I think in the stocks are falling, but also Higgins, mate. I had him last year for a few weeks.
Couldn't resist.
Mate, I absolutely love the bloke. He played 4 matches last year. Got a 34, 40, 44, and 29. If he gets in there, he'll score your points. The issue is he going to be in there regularly? Probably not. That's why he's a smoky. And that's why he's on the stocks are falling. But, I mean, he played 4 matches last year. And, I mean, it's hard to fall from that. He'll get 4 matches and pick him when he does.
As I was going to say, he's got to get those 4 Geordie Barrett rest weeks. So he's probably likely to get a go.
Mate, Balin Sullivan gets those. Riley Higgins gets none.
Mate,
yeah.
He's better.
Guys,
anything else on the Hurricanes before we move on?
No, let's push on to Moana Pasifika. There is a lot of players in and out here. This is a podcast worth of work just to try and tally this stuff up, but to rattle them off. All right. Sama Malolo, who was very good for them last year. James Lay retired. Sione Mafaleo, Sam Slade, Michael Curry, Artie Sevilla, the one and only on his sabbatical year. Sione Avili gone, another spiritual leader for them. Alamanda Matunga with his damaging running game, sad to see him gone. Ire Papuni Lotuanisi, who we just didn't get to see the best of last year but was unbelievable in 2024. Nari gone has left, I think, as well. Isaiah Hello, who was very good to start the year last year when he had his opportunity. Finay Nisi playing over in the Dragons in the URC. Danny Tawala, who covered everywhere for them in the back line. Papasano Patafilo, damaging centre, gone. Nerai Formai, also gone, who obviously just locked down one of the wings last year or the last couple of seasons outside back. Losi Filippo, the outside back reserve, and Karen Tamoe Falau, best for last, was obviously an absolute weapon for them. I think was probably their biggest attacking weapon outside Artie Sevilla. That's not even mentioning Pone for Amal Sealy, Connor Steve, Thomas Marker. There's so
Tomasi Marker, Harry. Tomasi Marker. So I really like this guy. He's an Aussie. But guess where he is now? Does anyone know?
No.
He is in the Crusaders development squad, mate. Pick him back up into the Aussie side in a few years after he gets developed under the Crusaders tutelage, and then we'll be good.
Yeah,
sounds good. It's like Nick Frost who was over there as well. Remember?
Yeah,
mate, there's been a few.
All right, big players in. Nels, do you want to take us through those because there's a few of those as well?
Mamora Harada, who almost played for the Sunwolves. He's from the Brave Lupus. We've got Jimmy Tupou from the Chiefs. We've got Augustine Pulu from Japan Club Footy and playing for Tonga. Nani Laumape is back, boys, in New Zealand. We can say the Pacific, but no, he is back in New Zealand. We've got Glenn Vaihu, Tuna Tuitama. We've got Israel Leota coming from Rugby League. Plus plenty more. Feletoi Penny, Tavita Latu, Siosi Ninganingi. Jeez, that's a hard one. I think I might have done it right. That is a hard one. Can you say that?
No, it's all right, mate. You nailed it.
Tubo Afungia, Alafosio Aho from the Tars, Dominic Ropetti. The list goes on.
Aho never got any game time for the Tars, did he? Did he end up playing some minutes or not?
No,
he did not.
No,
he's just kind of
playing West Harbour, mate.
Yeah.
From all accounts,
fringe.
He couldn't fit out the tunnel to get down onto the field, so they had to keep him out the back. You know, he wasn't allowed to.
He's only 22. He's 134 kgs.
Guys,
he's young.
Glenn Vahu, pretty exciting to see him coming back. I think that he's got some real pace, and if he gets an opportunity, could be a really good an outstanding attacking weapon for them. He's just got good feet, good through contact. So hopefully he's not over the hill. I don't know how old's Vahu now.
24.
Is that all?
And he's got his younger brother as well.
Wow, that's...
Oh, well, in outside back years, remember, that's almost... Julian Sevilla was put out to pasture at 25 by the All Blacks, so remember, you know what I mean? It's a...
26.
Yeah.
So starting 15, boys?
Yeah, let's do it. Starting 15, I'll name the entire team for you. It's Nani Laumape, 1 to 15.
Whoa. 2 players, mate. What about Mira?
True.
And can we say, the captain... Miracle Failangi, how good. We were all stoked to see that.
Mainly because it means that he's just going to keep playing, and that makes him so much more valuable in fantasy football.
No, but also just the story I think Nelson was going to touch on, you know?
Yeah, mate. First player signed out of the Pacific nations into this side, and he's just blossomed. And now he's captain. This guy's just going to keep on growing. He is an exciting player. He has been brought up with Pacific footy in his blood. There is no more Pacific Islander boy, no more Moana player in this side than him.
Yep.
How good.
Let's go through the actual team, though. Cargie, you want to take us through front row?
I will. Nelson and I have both gone for Abraham Pole to start. We just love him and his try-scoring prop. Harry's gone for Tito Tuipulotu, Patrick Tuipulotu's younger brother. We've all gone for Millennium Sanarivi to start at hooker, and for Letty Sai Taiafu'o, that I definitely did not nail that name, but he was incredibly exciting when he came across last year.
3 tries, didn't he, on debut? It was him that got 3 tries on debut.
It was a hat-trick on debut. That's right. Yeah, that's hell of a way to do it. But we've gone for Nelson and I have gone for Sam Molly on the bench. Harry's chucks a smoky in there. He's gone for Mamoru Harada, so we'll be excited to see him in there. And otherwise, we're just swapping around the props with Nelson and I, Tito Tuipulotu on the bench, Harry Abraham Pole, and we've all gone for Chris Apua on the bench, which I think is pretty. But look, the props Moana, we saw a lot of rotation, and I suspect we will again this year. But yeah,
they do that block rotation, right? It's like Pole will play the first 5 games, then Tito Tuipulotu will play the next 5 games, and kind of seems to go back and forwards like that. So I hope Pole is their first choice because I love a try-scoring prop, and that's what he is.
Boys, you're going to realise very soon, so I'll just put it out there. I'm a big fan of Tavita Offa. All right, I'm thinking he can cover multiple positions. I'm just going to put it out there now. When we jump across into the locks, Jimmy Tupo, we all have him. I have Ola Tawalangi. Harry's got Tom Savage. Kagie's got Offa Tawativalu. So we've all got a different loose head lock in our starting side.
I went for the old dude.
I just can't bring myself to put the 45-year-old Tom Savage in my starting team. I just can't do it. So anyway.
So basically my team is correct and you two are just picking guys that you hope get picked.
Pretty much.
I think that summarises it.
Savage is old, mate. He is old.
All right, Nelson, you can do we'll let you do the back rows, mate. Give us your back rows. We've got some differences here as well.
We've all got Miracle, Faialangi, Captain, Courageous, Samisi Paya for me in 7, Tupu Afungia for both of you, which is a good shout as well. Samisi Tupu Taialoa is our number 8 for all of us. I have Alan Craig, Harry has Alan Craig as a lock cover. Kagie's got Ola Tawalangi, trying to go the big boys, the more the Pacific, the better. I've got Tupu Afungia, Harry's got Samisi Paya, and Cargie also has Samisi Paya on the bench.
Yep, Ola Talangi, of course, can cover both lock and back row. So, to be fair, Samisi Pai probably could as well. He's also massive. So, I've just gone for 2 back row hybrids.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've thrown him in. I don't know if he is a lock back row hybrid, but he's been thrown in there, that's for sure.
Yep.
Guys,
Harry, do you want to take us through the inside backs?
Yeah, backline, I've got Jonathan Tamatini and so does Nelson. Cargie said Augustin Pulu's still got it.
Love Pulu. Bring him back in.
We've all gone Patrick Pellegrini after his absolutely red-hot form last year in the 10 jersey. Fair to say that I think I speak for all of us when I say please just keep picking him. I think we've all gone for Nane La Marpe in centres. You two have picked him at his most accustomed 12 jersey. I've picked him at 13 only because I've kept Julian Sevilla in the side and I just don't see him shifting out wide anymore. But probably relatively reasonably so as well. Lalamilo is the other option in centre that might push Sevilla back out of the starting side. So, yeah, you've got him at outside.
I think, you said you don't see him shifting out. Cargie and I see him shifting far out to the bench. We're not shifting him out wider. I mean, you've gone for the oldest centre partnership that's ever run around in Super Rugby.
Doesn't matter, mate. Does not matter.
At least they're experienced, mate. At least there's some experience there.
It's the Moana, mate.
Look, actually,
it's the Moana.
I don't know if there'd ever be a centre pairing that has scored more tries, though. And that will be the absolute max up there.
You might
that's
actually.
True, but
that's a very interesting stat. Yeah.
Yeah,
but not for this. Not for this team.
No, Solomon Alamalo is going to be on the left wing from all of us. I think he finally started to see a little bit of form back end of last year. We've all gone to Vita Offa on the right wing and William Havili at fullback. Nelson, you've got Tavita Offa a few times in there.
Yes, that's Cargie actually. He's good. Cargie and I have Julian Savia on the bench. Harry's not taking this serious. He's got Jackson Garden Bishop on his bench. We all know William Havili is the guy that will shift to cover 10. Everybody knows it. That knows what rugby is. Harry's got Glenn Vaiahu, which I quite like, and I might rethink my bench. My bench position for 23, rather than get Tavita in there again, I'm gonna throw Glenn Vaiahu in there as well.
Hey, just
for my bench, for my double up, I actually would probably throw in Tuna Tuitama. I think he had a couple of exciting games when he came off the bench last year. He kind of looks a little bit in the Sevu Reece type mould, a little bit smaller, but very powerful pocket rocket. So
Cargie, that's not true. Have you looked at the name Israel Leota? Have you seen this man's
look,
haircut?
I wanted to get Israel Leota. Yes, I know who he is, but I'm
Have
actually.
you seen his haircut?
Can you believe it? I have seen his haircut. It's a majestic. It is a majestic haircut. He actually, haircut alone looks like he should be starting in a Super Rugby.
He needs to bleach it, mate. If he's serious about getting selected, he needs to bleach it.
It's proven. It's proven. But I'm going to go with Tuna Tuitama.
And guys, just in case people actually listen to this podcast and think that we know what we're talking about and take Nelson's word for it, Patrick Pellegrini 10, William Havili 15, and Jackson Garden Bashop 22 was what they ran through the back end of last season. So they may do it because they have done it before.
Yeah, but now they don't have to. So, we all know you have to pick some players sometime, but when you realise you don't need to, you won't anymore. And that's what we're hoping for here.
And look, Harry, Patrick Pellegrini obviously has been fantastic, but does it now matter at Moana Pasifika who plays 10? Because the halfback's just going to cut straight to Nani Laumape at 12 every play, right? That's the new That's the new team order, isn't it?
Pellegrini was so good, man. I'd let Pellegrini give it to Laumape and then circle ball for the offload from Laumape.
I agree.
God, I'm excited to see him back.
Guys, stocks are rising. I've got Tupua Fungia. I said we could potentially see him make the 7 jersey his own, but mainly because, number one, he is big, fast, and a damaging runner, and he's established himself for Tonga, seemingly as the first choice there as well. So I've got high hopes for him in a pretty logjam back row that he might take that jersey. He's almost as much a Smoky as he is a stocks are rising, but we're putting him here.
Yeah, I think he played the last few games for Tonga. I don't think he was locked in at Tonga. He's played 9 matches across a couple of years, so he's played a lot, but I also saw him on the bench.
Yeah, but that's also with some of the other players leaving, like Alamanda Motunga, like some of the more, and Sione Havili, some of the traditional 7s that we did see share a lot of game time. We were hoping for. We have seen Samisi Tupou put on the 7 jersey at some point. Nelson was hoping and praying last year for a Samisi Tupou, and a Lotu Inisi back row.
The whole year,
a miracle having all 3 of them. But no, I agree with Harry. That's why we both named him in our starting lineup. We think Afungia could well make that jersey his own, and is the mould of the 7. So
he is good. I'm a big fan. I got Tavita offer. No Tamoe Falau, Padafilo, and Nisi, these guys that were taking jerseys and shifting to cover him in the wing. I think it helps Tavita offer. He can play fullback, he can play wing, he can play both starting and bench for my team by the looks of it. He is a guy that is going to his star's going to keep rising. He's going to shine this year, I reckon.
Cool. Mine, I'm just going to go a real simple, very quick fire, 3 players. Nani Mape, stocks are rising because he's coming back in fresh. So his stocks are at the we're back on a even level playing field. And they're going to skyrocket straight to the ceiling. Just be the entire team. That's really your job, and he'll deliver. Otherwise, Solomon Alamalo, get excited about him every year.
You just can't say the blokes you like, mate. You just can't name everyone you like.
But his stocks are actually rising because, again, less competition. We've all named him to be the starting winger, and so he's the type of player give him some game time, some exciting things are going to happen. So Solomon Alamalo for sure. And lastly, Miracle Failangi. He's the captain. You know what I mean? Last year we were worried about him not getting full game time. It was kind of towards the start of the season. We're like, God, they've got some good back rowers. Like, how are they going to fit them all in? But I mean, God, he just went. When he started the first game last year. Do you remember seeing him run out and he almost doubled in mass? Just
he was so
how
big,
freaking enormous he is. But he still kept all his pace and his explosiveness. He is, and now he's the captain. I just want to
clarify, Cargie. So he started every match last year, and you think he's going to start more this year, or?
I think he is going to start more than every match this year. I don't know how, but he's going to find a way to do it. So, but anyway, his stocks are rising for sure. Stocks are falling. Nelson, who you got?
Oh, mate. I mean, Augustine Pulu has turned up. So Tamatini, Matavao, probably Matavao is going to take the biggest hit there. Cargie and I think Tamatini could still get Harry and I still think, it is Tamatini can get the start. But Augustine Pulu turning up is certainly not going to help you game time if you're a halfback, because we all know he can play.
Sure can. And he's only 36. He's a youngster. Spring chicken, you know what I mean? So...
Yeah.
Harry, any stocks are falling, Harry? Or any injuries, either of those?
No injuries yet. They're always a particularly... No, I don't think his stocks were that high last year. I mean, it probably is actually a fair call, because I think Pellegrini was so good that his stocks kind of fell midway through the season. But I would hope that Pellegrini is just hands down the starting 10 for the entire year now. There's no more rotation trying to work it out.
And not only was Pellegrini so good at Super Rugby, he then went on to have a fantastic campaign for Tonga. You know what I mean? Like throughout the back half of the year. So he has, you'd have to think it's Pellegrini's jersey. So
he's the one that got away for Australian rugby.
I was going to say skip straight forward to my Smokies and go Falatoi Penny, who technically I think is like an inside centre. He's like 173 centimetres tall from memory and like 112 kilos or something. Like, he is just an actual bowling ball. If Laumape is the bowling ball, this guy is going to put him to absolute shame for just build alone. I think he's about, now I'm not checking any of these stats, but I think he's about 26 years old. So I remember when we did the Hot Chip podcast, I was far more informed to be actually accurate about this. So I would definitely recommend that you go have a look. But the main thing for me is that the opportunities that he's had as he's finally got it in the last couple of years is that he's taken a big step every single time. So from being the player of his club for 2 years straight, couldn't crack Auckland, then into the NPC, went down to Southland, was Rookie of the Year down there, and then now has finally gotten a chance through Moana. Originally, when Moana were talking to him, he had no other interest. He was wondering if he should take it. Then he had interest from both the Highlanders and apparently the Chiefs. So his stocks have gone up so far already. I think it's fair to say that you may see him continue to rise. I think they've named him as a first five. I don't really believe that. Like, I think he's probably going to be seen more as an inside centre if he can get any game time. But one to watch.
100%. Nels, who you got? Smokies.
Mate, I touched him. Israel Leota. You see this man stride out. I think he's 190 centimetres. He's not humongous. That's really said bare minimum to be outside back for the Tars. But you see him stride out. He's got some size. He's got some luscious locks. He's a man that if he gets on, they're going to be wanting to get the ball to, because he is dangerous. And we all know, if you're on the end of this back line with these centres, if they decide to not do it all themselves, they're certainly going to put you in the position to score some tries. So he would be on the back end of that.
So he does. And for me, it was Tuna Duetama, who I don't know. I don't think he got a smoky call out last year. He might have, but he's been promoted to the full squad this year, and just like I said, incredibly exciting, like absolute pocket rocket in the Sevu Reece type of mould. So we could well see him have a breakout year and get himself one of those outside back jerseys. So could be exciting. All right. Any last points on the Moana Pasifika?
Let's push to our tips, I reckon.
Cool. Let's do it.
Yep, a Cargie.
All right. So putting me on the spot, this is good for the conference. I'm going to go ahead and say something really controversial here. And I'm going to go ahead and say that the Chiefs are going to top the table again, followed by the Crusaders, followed by it's either Hurricanes then Highlanders or Highlanders then Hurricanes. So no, I'm going to go Hurricanes, Highlanders, and Moana. Oh, sorry.
Where's Blues?
I forgot about the Blues. Completely forgotten about them.
Wow.
Now he's throwing a stunner in the works. All right. I've got Chiefs, Crusaders. God. Chiefs, Crusaders. Yeah, I'm going to go Hurricanes. then...
So your controversial call is it's going to be the same as last year. Chiefs, Crusaders, Hurricanes, Blues.
No. But I'm swapping the Highlanders and Moana. So
controversial, very controversial. I like
controversial. Controversial. That's mine. You can't copy me, so you got to come up with something new.
Harry, come up with something new.
Yeah, gladly. I'm going to go last Moana, second last Highlanders, but I think that'll be neck and neck because Jamie Joseph is going to leave the Highlanders and it's going to cause absolute chaos. I do really like their side a lot more this year, though. The Hurricanes, I think... Oh, God. I think it's going to be the same, but I'm going to switch. I'm going to say Crusaders, the defending champs, now in the swing of things are going to continue and top it. Then Chiefs, Hurricanes, Blues, Highlanders, Moana.
Geez, it's very hard to differ from that.
Well, you have to.
I'm definitely going Crusaders, Chiefs. I am picking Crusaders number 1. Chiefs number 2. That's maybe the one controversial bit. I'm going Moana last. I'm going Highlanders second last. So it comes down to the Canes and the Blues. And I'm literally just scrolling through to have a little bit of a look here. The Blues are going to come in.
Come on, mate. You've had so long.
They're going to come in above the Hurricanes. I need to be controversial and different, mate. They're going to come in above the Canes.
You know what?
So it's going to go...
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you rattle your teams off.
So Crusaders, Chiefs, Blues, Canes, Highlanders, Moana.
What I was going to say is, if Jamie Joseph wasn't about to leave the Highlanders high and dry, I think I would have actually put them above the Blues and put the Blues down below them.
They don't have Pledger, mate. They don't have Pledger, and Fakatave's. I love him. He's not an even
That's
player.
not a bad shout, though, Harry. That is not a bad shout.
It's such a good side, man. And, like, the thing is, last year, they didn't do well. But keep in mind, now you got Radamatavuki Neepkins, who was unbelievable the year before. Nareki's fit. Tangatau's fit. Like, those back three, Tavatavanawai, it's ridiculous. They've got so many back rowers that we can't pick which three they're going to be. Lavanini and Holland, like, they're top 20 or so players, or let's say they're top 15, 16 players, as good as anyone's in this competition. It's just if they have the depth. Unbelievable.
I think the depth is what hurts them.
So now the real question is, if we combine our two conference predictions, who's winning Super Rugby? Is it which Australian team's winning, guys?
Tars.
Tars?
Yeah, they're going to qualify 6 and win. We said it last week.
I don't know if they're making the top 6, but yeah, Tars to win. Lock them in.
Good. Cool. All right.
Are we doing combined tables or not?
Nah, we're not doing combined tables.
You'd have to go find it, Harry, to be honest with you. But
it's too much.
Look, I think let's just put it this way: are the Brumbies coming third again? That's all we really need to answer. Or is the Reds or Brumbies? Where are they coming? They're coming third.
I've got the Reds at third.
I have a controversial take.
Yeah, go on then.
As long as you don't take 20 years to tell us.
Yeah.
There is going to be a first in 2026, and it's going to be the Crusaders losing a home final. Just odds, mate. They have to lose one day.
We waited so long for you to say just odds.
Nothing else behind it. Just pure maths.
Just odds.
They have great players. They have great depth. They never ever lose, but eventually they will, and it will be this year, which happens to be the same year the Wallabies win the Blurvers low back. It's a big year. Lock those two things in. If they're right, that's a lot of money.
Is this an exclusive, Nelson, or for that?
It's definitely not. It's definitely not.
Sweet as. All right. Well, I think that basically summarises the New Zealand conference preview. Thank you for bearing with us on that one. Again, just worth shouting out that hopefully this weekend, on Sunday, we're hoping to open the draftrugby.com platform for Super Rugby Pacific 2026 League creation. So
this will go out next week, mate. So it'll hopefully be open now.
Cool. It's open. Everyone get into it already. Sign up. Invite all your mates.
If you check and it's not open, Cargie, what's your
something's gone really wrong.
Handle?
Yeah.
What's your Twitter handle, Cargie?
I'm not on Twitter, mate. I've never heard of it. So don't worry about it. Just
DCAR.
At Draft Rugby, I believe, is what it is. But
no, sorry.
So anyway,
it's Cargie. It's complaints@draftrugby.com. That's where you're going to send your complaints, boys. Don't send it to our Twitter.
It bounces back. Don't worry. That's a normal thing. Don't worry about it. But anyway, no. Yeah, the platform, we're very close to opening it. So, it will be open by the time you listen to this. And get around it. Invite your mates. Check it out. Draftrugby.com. Create a new league for Super Rugby Pacific 2026.
Premium memberships this year as well, mate. Can you give us a bit of an insight into what people are going to get for their premium membership and how that actually works?
Draft Rugby Pro membership. So draftrugby.com, of course, is a free-to-play game, but we would like to claw some money back from the bottomless pit of money that we've thrown in over the years.
Yeah, don't say make money, mate. Let's not be too ambitious here.
Yeah, sorry, not make money. We'd like to soften the blow, if you will. But there'll be Draft Rugby Pro subscriptions, and we're just getting started with a whole bunch of features. But introductory features we're going to start with. There'll be a few things that'll just make your life easier when you're playing the game. So we're starting with a favourites feature, the ability to favourite players in your league so that you can kind of keep track of them throughout the season. This will be particularly useful in the initial draft and trade sessions. So you can keep track of the players that you want to. You don't lose your place or forget about them in the madness of the draft when someone's just picked the last hooker that was any good or anything like that. So favourites is one. We're going to have some advanced player stats, so a whole bunch of extra player stats like form, value-based drafting type stats, probably be like 10 to 15 extra data points and just like extra ways of seeing all of the data, which would be really helpful. Then we're going to get on to the starting, benched or not playing team lineups. So when you actually see your fantasy team in the app, you will see every week once the team lineups are announced, which thankfully for Super Rugby Pacific is on Wednesdays at lunch. You'll be able to see your team, which players are starting, benched or not playing this week. So you'll know what trades to make in your trade session. Whereas if you're not a Draft Rugby Pro member, you'll have to go figure that out yourself. So it doesn't stop you, but you'll have to figure that out. And yeah, that's just the start that I can think of. There's a whole bunch more features. We're only really going to launch it with, I'd say, 3 or 4 features, but then we'll be adding more and more, and those will be some extremely valuable features. So, and we're getting after about just $10 a month is what we're going to launch it with. It is just a monthly subscription, so you can join, cancel at any time.
$2.50 a week to beat your mates. Is that what it is? $2.50 a week. I'd pay 10 times that personally to beat you too.
And you'd need to.
I mean, I haven't had to.
Look at this. You'd need to this year. But I think the big thing is, if you're going to do it for the initial draft. To be able to favourite and get that sort of stuff for your initial draft, that's where you're going to get big value, and you'll find out pretty quick that you'll get other value and you won't want to lose it. But, I mean, the most important $10 will be for your initial draft.
And look, apart from that, it is worth saying, Harry, that's a good point. Obviously, if anyone does want to get involved and help us grow this sport, we're always looking for stuff. But to Harry's point, if you do have a league and you want to pay us inordinate amounts of money to cheat for you so you win, we were willing to consider it.
We're open to it.
So just
we are not gonna consider it. We will do it. Like if you've got to pay me, like, I'm 10 points down, guys, I've given you $200. Can you give him, a couple more points? We will just make him get 11 more points.
All I'll say is it's possible. But no, anyway, that's draftrugby.com and the pro subscriptions all coming up very soon. The last point I think we should do before we actually end this podcast is just so the next podcast we will do is hopefully the draft preview podcasts, ranking a lot of the players and talking about our draft strategy, just basically giving away all of our insights to how we're attacking the draft ourselves like we do every year. And otherwise, we are hoping to have a special guest lined up. We're not going to name drop who it is. You'll have to wait and see. But stay tuned for that one. Could be a big one.
Bye.
Hooroo.